Jai Hind, friends. Today, in our very special session of Vartalap, we welcome Shri
We
Obhijit Roy
welcome
with us
Abhijit Roy
to
as
remember and to know
remember
the life of
the life
Shri Sarat Chandra Bose. Sarat Chandra Bose was an eminent lawyer, a renowned politician, a famous journalist, and a famed statesman.
of the
We all know him
we
only as
know him
the
only as
elder
the
brother and
elder
the strongest support
and
to
the
Netaji Subhash
strongest
Chandra
support
Bose.
to Netaji.
But there are so many unknown and unsung aspects of his life that will be told us Obhijit Uncle in today's session. Uncle, we welcome you again in this session of Vartalap. And in
And
the, I mean, as the very first question, I will just want to know about the brief life history of Sri Sharat Chandra Bose. His education, his childhood, the college education, and how he became a barrister and everything.
Thank you very much, Anushka. Thank you very much, Adrija. Uh, my first tribute to my reverend grandfather, Sarat Chandra Bose. I start with one word. Sarat Chandra Bose was a firm believer in the rectitude of in political behavior because he believed that nothing which is morally wrong can be politically correct. Today, in this day today, when we see the politicians, when we see the nasty works done in the Indian politics, we again and again remember these words, which was followed till his last day by Sarat Chandra Bose. And he maintained one thing, that the country stands on a brave discipline and brave journalism. He never wanted journalism, as he was a great journalist you have just mentioned. He never wanted that the journalist should speak something unnecessarily in favor of a politician or a political party. He should speak the truth. He should speak what is just. That is why he always used to say that nothing which is morally wrong is politically correct. Now, coming to his life, Sarat Chandra Bose was born in 1889 on the 6th of September, today's day, in Cuttack, because we all know that Sarat Chandra's father was a renowned lawyer at the Cuttack High Court, and he was also at one time a government pleader. Sarat Chandra was born to Janakinath and Prabhavati Bose in 1889, and he passed out his matriculation from the Provincial Collegiate School at the age of 12. Now, here is a little story here. Sarat Chandra's elder brother, that is the eldest son of Janakinath and Prabhavati, Satish Chandra Bose, was to appear for the matriculation examination from Provincial Collegiate School. So Sarat Bose also wished that he will also appear in the matriculation examination along with his elder brother Satish. So both the brothers, they appeared the matriculation examination. It was around 1901 or something, the age of 12 years, and they passed out the matriculation examination from Provincial Collegiate School, Cuttack. Now, on those days, in Cuttack there was no college. For higher studies, a student had to come down to Calcutta. That time it was Calcutta, not Kolkata, what we say today. So both the brothers, they came down to Kolkata, got their admission in the Presidency College, in the graduation course, and they stayed at the Hindu hostel, which is very near to Presidency College, just behind Calcutta University. Here, Sarat Chandra and Satish Chandra met many people, many able persons, and they completed their BA, and ultimately Sarat Chandra, he completed his MA in 1911. In 1909. And then, as per his own wish, he studied law and became a lawyer in the year 1911. Now, after becoming a lawyer, he went back to Cuttack and started practicing as a lawyer in the Cuttack High Court. Now, there is a beautiful incident here. As I've already told, that Janakinath Bose was a government pleader, and it so happened that Sarat Chandra Bose, in one of the cases, he was arguing against his father Janakinath as a defense counsel, and his way of advocacy, his way of cross-examination was such that is very much impressed the English judge who was sitting at the bench. So that English judge, he advised or asked Janakinath that your son has got a potential. Why don't you send him to England to appear in the bar? He will shine as a lawyer. I can guarantee you that. After hearing this, Janakinath made all the arrangements, and Sarat Bose, he went to England, and before that, before going to England, he got married to Bibabati, the only daughter of Sri Kumar Devi Shas and Chorla Devi Shas of Turanga, Calcutta, or the area which is very well known now as College Square. We have the old house still, the old house there, the office of the day publishers, still standing in an old house where I had many memories going to my Didima's Bapirwadi and meeting my Didima's mother, whom I used to call Budima. This is Srimati Sharla Devi Shas. So I had a lot of memories there when I was a small child. And after marrying with Bibabati, he went to England and qualified for the bar in 1912 and came out in 1914 as a full-fledged barrister, having his bar at law degree. After getting his bar at law degree, he came down to Calcutta Bar, Calcutta. He registered himself as a lawyer in the Calcutta Bar under the able guidance of Sir Nipendranath Sarkar. Many of you have heard about Sir N. Sarkar, who was a very eminent lawyer, and at that time he was very well respected in the Calcutta Bar. And like his guru, Sarat Chandra Bose, as I have heard from my mother, he always used to address Sir N. Sarkar as Guruji, because he was his mentor in the Calcutta Bar, and there actually Sarat Bose later on became very famous for his exceptional power of advocacy and for his penetrating cross-examination. There were days in Calcutta Bar, Calcutta High Court, where junior lawyers later on used to throng the court premises where Sarat Chandra Bose used to examine the witnesses. Such was the famous cross-examination of Sarat Chandra Bose, that everybody, every young lawyer wanted to get some kind of education out of that cross-examination. And he was a very famous lawyer. Now, one thing I must say here, that Sarat Chandra Bose, as a lawyer, established himself, and his income was huge. Professionally, he was a very successful man. Many a people were envied about his lavish lifestyle, but they did not know that on the other hand also, Sarat Chandra Bose, he donated freely to the needy and poor students. This was also a promise which he had made to his father Janakinath Bose. Because Janakinath Bose, as many people know, the Boses are originally from Mahinagar in 24 Parganas. Now, as it happens so that the family grows, when the family grows, the space is less. So in that case, the grandfather of Sarat Chandra Bose, the father of Janakinath Bose, he moved to Korea. And he had many daughters and sons, and Janakinath was the youngest. By the time Janakinath was born and he was able to pursue his higher studies, his father did not have that much of money. So Janakinath Bose, it must be mentioned here, he was in Albert School, Godia. Anyone of you who have a little idea about 24 Parganas, South 24 Parganas, you will know that Godia is quite a far distance from Kodalia. Janakinath Bose used to walk from Kodalia to his Albert School, Godia, and come back. And he used to complete his studies at night under the street lamp, because he used to save that oil which was needed to light the lamp. So such sacrifices and such hardships, under such hardship, Janakinath had to go through, and ultimately he became an established lawyer. And some well-wisher from the family said that don't register in Calcutta High Court because that is too crowded. If you want to show your merits, come down to Cuttack, register yourself at the Cuttack High Court. Janakinath did that, and he became an established lawyer in Cuttack and bought a house in Cuttack called Janakinath Bhavan. If anybody goes to Cuttack, I had the good fortune of visiting Cuttack with my better half, Sharmani, and I've been there, and that house, that very big house, has now been converted as the Netaji Museum. So that's a worth place seeing. It's a worth place. So Janakinath had told his sons from his own experience that if a needy and poor student comes and asks for any monetary help, do not say no to him. Sarat Bose remembered this advice from his father, and he helped many poor students all through his life. One thing I would like to mention here, which I've heard from my mother, that after he closed his eyes forever in the year 1950, on the 20th of February, many students, they came and cried bitterly in front of my grandmother, Srimati Vibhavati Bose, that today our real father has gone. In Bengali, if I say, they said, "Amra to pitri hara hoye gela," because they were continuously helped by Sarat Bose to pursue their higher studies. Now, surprisingly, my grandmother, Vibhavati Bose, did not know that Sarat Bose used to these poor students. So this was Sarat Chandra Bose. The people say that if Sarat Chandra Bose gave a donation from his right hand, his left hand was unaware of that. So this was the charity side of Sarat Chandra Bose on one hand. On the other hand, he was very, very sympathetic towards the revolutionaries, towards the freedom fighters, including his younger brother, Subhash Chandra Bose, whom he cared in a fatherly manner and whom he groomed to be the national hero and thereafter an international hero. So people may take it otherwise. People may object to what I say, but I always maintain one thing. That is because of Sarat Chandra Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose could become Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. This is, in a nutshell, his previous life, his establishment as a what do you call, as a lawyer. Now, do you have any other question? Shall I move to his political career? I can't hear you, Adrija. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
I can.
Can you also please tell us? Can you also please tell us about the political life of Shri Sarat Chandra Bose?
Yes. Sarat Chandra Bose actually, he started his political career. It is both the brothers, Sarat and Subhash. They started their political career under the able guidance of Deshbandhu Chittaranjan. Sarat Bose became actually a lawyer. I'm sorry. Sarat Chandra Bose became the member of the Congress in 1918. But his real political life began in 1920. You see, actually, Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das, he had formed the Swaraj party within the Congress. He was a true nationalist leader. And right from the beginning, in the early 20th century, he had just stressed upon one thing, that we want total independence or Purna Swaraj from the British imperialists. And both the brothers, Sarat and Subhash, became his disciple, political followers. And actually, in 1920, his political career started when he was elected as a member of the Bengal Legislative Assembly from Kolkata. There is a Calcutta University seat. He contested, he won it from there and became a member of the Bengal Legislative Assembly in 1920. That started the political career of Sarat Chandra Bose. Now, after joining the Legislative Council in 1920, as at that time, Deshbandhu Chittaranjan was the mayor of Calcutta Corporation, and he did a lot of work. Both the brothers, sorry, both the brothers, Sarat and Subhash, they started their early political activities from the corporation level. That is, from the grassroots level. They never became a political leader overnight. Sarat Bose was the alderman of the Calcutta Corporation in 1924, and from 1930 to 1932, Sarat Chandra Bose was the councillor of the Calcutta Corporation, where his many famous lectures are there in the Calcutta Municipal Gazette. Here, on those days, Calcutta Corporation was actually running under the whims of the Europeans. The European lords, the European feudals, who were at that time the head of the British Raj. But against these, he came out and he argued in many of the cases, like, say, the free school and free education for the children, proper sanitation of the city of Calcutta, and the distribution of rationing in Calcutta. These were many of the important issues where Sarat Bose made very, very important deliberations. Of 1818, where the political prisoners were imprisoned and there was no trial. They were not allowed to appoint a lawyer in court, any court, either in the lower court or high court, to fight their cases. They were imprisoned, kept in the prison for years together, without any trial, without any charge sheet. Just on the basis of suspicion, these revolutionaries, these freedom fighters, were imprisoned. So, along with many other nationalist players, Sarat Bose also boycotted the bar, and he boycotted his profession for a few years, protesting against these sort of heinous laws implemented by the British Empire. But during his this period, and from the 1930s, he boycotted the bar. He appeared for one case in the favor of the revolutionaries of Chittagong, armed revolution. And for that, he went to Chittagong or Chattogram. There in the Chittagong court, he was arguing in favor of a few revolutionaries of the Chittagong armed revolution, particularly Ananta Singh. There are two incidences I would like to mention here. Once it is said, I don't know how far it is true, I was not that big enough when he died. I was just about 3.5 years old. Had he been living a bit longer, and if I had grown up at that time, I would have asked him a question about this particular thing which I've heard. And another thing in his book he had wrote that all the way from Calcutta, Sarat Chandra Bose carried 2 live bombs in his suitcase and told Ananta Singh that whatever is going on here is just a farce. I can't save you. This is a farce in the name of judicial procedure or whatever it is. You will not be spared, and most probably you will be hanged, many of you. So it is better if you try to have a jailbreak and escape. A lawyer is advising his client, Ananta Singh. Of course, when this interview started, the jailer was standing very near. Sarat Bose said, well, Mr. Jailer, the interview should be within the sight, not within the hearing distance. So would you mind going and standing a little distance so that you can't hear me, but you can see me? The jailer got shocked. Jailer went ahead. He went a little bit. He maintained a little bit distance, and this was almost like whispering. He said, he has said that I have brought 2 live bombs for you. I've kept it with your family. If you want them, you can use it during your jailbreak. And in fact, these revolutionaries, they tried a jailbreak, which was revealed. The police of the Chittagong jail, they caught it. And along with this, they saw a great protest rally in Chittagong. So they were afraid that if these people are hanged, there will be a civil war type of thing in Chittagong and other places. So they diverted their judgment, and these people were sent to Andaman. Loknath Bal, Ganesh Ghosh, Ananta Singho, they were all sent to Andamans in life imprisonment. So in that way, you can say that Sarat Bose saved the life of these young revolutionaries, because after independence, they were freed. They became free citizens. One more incident I would like to call upon. At that time, Statesman was a paper in favor of the British Raj. Statesman and Englishman, 2 papers were there. After independence, Englishman was wrapped up. Statesman stayed in India. It is still there. Statesman taunted that has Sarat Bose boycotted the bar at Calcutta to prepare this case for the Chittagong revolutionaries. This came in the editorial of Statesman, and Sarat Bose, during his hearing at the Chittagong court, he enters the court with a Statesman in his hand, and he said, Your Lordship, I would like to say one thing, that this newspaper has insulted my integrity. This newspaper has insulted and encroached into my personal life. I would like to say, mark the words, he said, I would like to say in front of the Honorable Court that I damn care for the masquerading of a cur hiding under the borrowed hide of a British lion. The judge got shocked. The judge said, Mr. Bose, would you mind repeating it? He raised his voice and said, I damn care for the masquerading of a cur hiding under the borrowed hide of a British lion. And if statesman does not withdraw his statement and says sorry to me, within 15 days, I am going to sue statesman. The fact is, within 10 days, statesman withdrew its statement and apologized to Sarat Chandra Bose. So this was the personality of Sarat Chandra Bose. This is just an example. You will see in other cases where I will read out the reports of the police intelligence and the British intelligence, what they thought about Sarat Chandra Bose. Actually, Sarat Bose today in India, unfortunately, is a forgotten leader. He is remembered as the elder brother of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. But he had his separate identity. He had his separate personality. And that is what we are trying to revive in many ways. And we would like the people of India to know, people of Bengal to know, that his untimely death in 1950 has really been a great loss to both Bengal and India. Thank you for the time being. Now it's up to you to ask the questions.
Meshumashay?
Yeah.
Yes, I will. I will just wish to ask you that during 1930, after the Chittagong armed revolution, Sarat Chandra Bose went there as the advocate of Master Surya Sen and all other revolutionaries.
Yeah.
Can you share that story?
I told you that at that time, Sarat Chandra Bose had boycotted the bar because of the British, the British autocracy about the revolutionaries. The revolutionaries were jailed and not kept and not given the chance to defend themselves. So many of the lawyers, few lawyers, the nationalist lawyers and Sarat Chandra Bose also, they boycotted the bar. And this, while boycotting the bar, they had not been in the profession. They were not attending any cases there. So was the case with Sarat Bose. But Sarat Bose attended the case on a special request for the family of Mamta Singh and other revolutionaries of Chittagong. And I said, he appeared, and what statesman said, and statesman taunted his presence while he was boycotting the bar. And you know what he said to statesmen in the open court of Chittagong. Now, after that, as a member of the Swaraj party, Sarat Bose participated in the civil disobedience movement in 1930, along with his brother Subhash, along with his mentor Deshbandhu Chittaranjan. Here, he was also managing a paper called Forward, brought out by Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das. He showed his merit as a writer, apart from an orator. And particularly because of his writings and partition in the civil disobedience movement, Sarat Bose actually in February 1932, he was arrested by the British Empire under the Regulation 3 of 1818 for 3.5 years. He was first transferred from Kolkata to Sioni, a place in Jabalpur, and then to Jabalpur jail. Was kept there for more than 2 years, and then followed his internment in his house at Kurseong, near Gitapar, Kurseong, near Darjeeling, where he was kept interned for another year or so. So that started his life. Now, everybody expected there was no charge against Sarat Chandra Bose, excepting that he participated in the civil disobedience program. There were demands to the British Raj for the release of Sarat Chandra Bose, but the British would not release. Why? Now, this description in the files of the police intelligence, I will read out one after another. It will say that how British intelligence had looked since his appearing for the revolutionaries of Chittagong, the Chittagong court, how the British constantly followed him and made certain notes which in the eyes of the British Empire made him a very dangerous man. Now, what were these notes on the file? First note said, Mr. Sarat Bose is unquestionably a most dangerous opponent of the government and a man whose intellectual attainments is far superior to the majority of the Congress leaders in the province. And this intellectual attainments is so far superior that it is rather impossible to prove his faults. So this was a note in the police files about Sarat Bose. Another remark says, Sarat Bose is a revolutionary, a financier of the revolutionaries, and a corrupter of the press, because he used to talk straight in the press too, and the Calcutta Corporation. His views in the Calcutta Corporation as a councillor during the year 1930-32, his editorials in the papers with which he was associated, and a financier of the revolutionaries, caught the evil eyes of the British Empire. The third one, the most dangerous one, this man is a real snake in the grass. He has covered his track so well that there is little against him that can be proved, and this makes him all the more dangerous. So these are the three reports which are there in the police file. And the last one says that means Sarat Bose's remaining at large was a danger to the security of the British dominions from internal commotions. We feel constrained to add that although his activities were less spectacular than those of his younger brother Subhash, they were more subtly insidious and therefore perhaps no less dangerous. So in one word they say that he is more dangerous than his illustrious brother. He is so planned, so organized in his way that it will be a danger for the British Empire to let him loose, let him be free. That is why for 3.5 years he was kept in the British prison. Now, what the famous or the infamous, the then Police Commissioner of Calcutta, Charles Tegard, had to say in his note in the police files. As the Commissioner of Police, he stated, the Sarat Chandra Bose assisted the revolutionary movement for years by means of his purse, his press, and his prestige. He is not the man to throw bombs himself, but he is ready to provide money for their manufacture. Okay, he will probably never shoot an European official as long as he lives, but he is eager to incite young men to commit murder. Few men in this presidency have provided so much money for revolutionary enterprises. No man is more responsible for the present cult of the revolver. No man has done as much as Sarat Bose to instill into the mind of the young youth of Bengal that poisonous creed which justifies political assassination and canonizes political murderers. This is very dangerous individual. This very dangerous individual should be dealt with under Regulation 3, signed by Charles Tegard. So this is the view of the intelligence, police intelligence, and the police commissioner himself, Charles Tegard, or Sarat Chandra Bose. And time and again he has said that he is more organized, is more dangerous than his illustrious brother, Subhash Chandra Bose. So this was Sarat Chandra Bose and his activities with his purse, with his press, and with his prestige. As Charles Tegard said, he has helped out the revolutionaries of Bengal, revolutionaries of India, including his younger brother, Subhash Chandra Bose.
মেশোমশাই, in a Bengali book, আমি সুভাষ বলছি, it was mentioned that after the incident of Loman in Dhaka, Sarat Chandra Bose offered Vinay Bose to leave the country because they wanted to save that young gem for the further revolutionary activity. Tegard was very much active against Vinay Bose.
Not only that, see, when he was in Chittagong, he gave an offer to the people who were not behind the bars that if Surya Sen wants to leave for another country like Japan, Germany, I will provide money. Let him go out. Let him organize a revolution from there. But Surya Sen was not willing. Same here, Binoy Bose was not agreeing, and ultimately Binoy, Badal, and Dinesh they became famous by their writers' building veranda fighting. So that writers' invasion of writers' building, where their main target was Mr. Simpson, who was jailer and who was infamous for torturing the prisoners. Their main aim, and they succeeded they succeeded fully that to kill Simpson. They walked into his room and they said, "Well, Mr. Simpson, pray your gods, your life is now going to end. Your life is numbered." And they shot and they killed Simpson. And that is the thing. Actually, in this way, Sarat Bose has helped many people, many revolutionaries. So, what Tegart says that he is not a man to throw a bomb himself, but he will provide the money for the manufacture of the bomb. He will never shoot an English officer with a revolver, but he will make arrangements so that the revolutionists get a revolver and shoot the man. This was Sarat Bose. That is why Tegart said that he helped the revolutionaries with his purse and his money, with his press and his prestige. He was not bothered what the other sophisticated people will say. He was not bothered that people will say, he is the man who is giving money to the revolutionaries against the British people. He was not afraid of this sort of criticism. Whatever he felt right for the freedom of his motherland, he did that. And that is the character of Sarat Chandra Bose. Today, unfortunately, is forgotten by us.
Meshomashai, one more story I would like to hear from you. The association of Sarat Chandra Bose in the inauguration of Mahajati Sadan.
Yeah. Actually, foundation stone laying ceremony of Mahajati Sadan. It was planned by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And of all the persons, all the people, we invited Tagore. You come and you give the presidential address in this special function. Rabindranath Tagore was very sick at that time, but he could not refuse Subhash's call. He came to Calcutta, went to Mahajati Sadan. You see the picture of Mahajati Sadan, you'll see there are two chairs on the dais. On one chair, Subhash Chandra is sitting, and one chair, Rabindranath Tagore is sitting. And on the background, there are few chairs also where I think Sri Rani Maulana Mish is sitting. Lady, if you see there. The Sarat Bose was in the dais. He never said anything to anybody. He quietly came and sat on the ground on the dais in between the two chairs where Subhash Chandra Bose and Tagore was sitting. I have heard this from many people, from my auntie Geeta Biswas. She had said that after the ceremony, few people asked him, "Sarat Babu, why were you sitting on the ground? আপনি মাটিতে কেন বসেছিলেন?" Sarat Bose smiled and said, "There were fewer chairs on the dais." Actually, that was the time when he projected his younger brother as a national leader. And he had his respect towards Rabindranath. So he thought that the only one to share a chair along with Rabindranath Tagore is my younger brother Subhash, not me. Because he is a national leader, where I am just a petty political leader of the province. That was his outlook. And particularly because of his outlook, he was able to project his uh, younger brother into the national arena and ultimately to the international arena. Well, let me tell you one thing about the Great Escape. 17 January 1941. Now, the planning of the Great Escape had started long back. Some say there was a discussion long back after Subhash's resignation from as the Rashtrapati of Congress in 1939 at Wellington Square, Calcutta, where the AICC meeting was held at One Woodman Park, the residence of Sarat Bose. There, the AICC meeting was presided by Mr. Sarojini Naidu, where particularly Jawaharlal Nehru, he said, requested Subhash Chandra Bose to continue as a president. Subhash in reply said that probably my being the. Can you hear me? Adrija Anusha, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Bose, clearly. It is
Yeah,
absolutely clear.
Shubha said, because I cannot see myself on the screen, something is wrong. Anyway, it'll come. So, Subhash said the present circumstances doesn't allow him to continue as a president or a Rashtrapati of Congress, because even before that, the Pant resolution, which was brought in 1939 by Govinda Vallabh Pant, clearly stated that the working committee will be only made after Gandhiji gave his nod to the committee. Now, peculiarly, Gandhiji at that time did not have much time, within bracket, to hear to Subhash. We do not know why. And Subhash knew the majority of the Congress leaders, they don't want him to continue. So he said this. So once he said this, Sarojini Naidu as a president, she said, your words are not very convincing and they are a little bit vague. So she hastily took the decision that as you have desired, I say that your decision is accepted. And hastily she closed the meeting. People came out of One Woodman Park, went to Wellington Square, where his resignation was officially accepted. Rajendra Prasad was elected as a new president or Rashtrapati of Congress. People were furious. People are furious. That's the picture of the ICC at One Woodman Park. That's the ICC at One Woodman Park. Sarojini is sitting here. Subhash Bose reading out his statement. They were ready to beat up the Congress leadership there. There was chaos outside. Subhash came out himself and he said, they are our guests. The heritage of Bengal is to take care of your guests not to behave in an ill fashion with your guests, so that if you behave in such manner, I'm going to be their shield and you have to beat me first. He escorted each and every Congress leader to his car and saw that they are safely they safely go towards their place they were living. That particular year, incident, Jawaharlal Nehru was a guest of Sarat Chandra Bose in one Woodman Park only. What I have heard from my aunt Geeta, my mother's next sister. Geeta's job was to serve the morning tea to Jawaharlal Nehru. When she was preparing the tea next morning, Sarat Bose walked up to say, Geeta, your behavior should not reflect anything negative to Jawahar. Bear your smiling face, continue smiling, wish him good morning, and serve him the tea in a smiling way. This was the courtesy of Sarat Chandra Bose, and he knew how to behave with his guests. In that house,
Tough job indeed.
Nehru was a guest many a times along with his daughter Indira Gandhi. Gandhi was a guest there, and never they felt, even they had some political differences, never in their stay at Woodland Park, they had felt that they are being ill-treated or ill-behaved by even a single member of the family. So this was the courtesy. This is the political, this is the outwardly behavior of a man, his personality. It shows his character also. Now, such was the thing that Subhash also learned certain things. At that point of view, when Pak resolution had come down and Gandhiji was not supporting Subhash, was not responding to the request of Subhash. The socialist within the Congress, particularly Evan Roy, he insisted Subhash to build his own working committee. But Subhash said, no. I am a member of the Congress. I have been elected by the Congress as the president. I have won the presidency through the election within the Congress. I will not go against the rules and regulations of the Congress. And when he was angry that the many members of the Congress, the rightists and the leftists also, they don't want him to be the president or the Rashtrapati. He resigned. And the forward bloc which he was running within the Congress, he formed that forward bloc as an official party. But mind you, Sarat Bose did not join out. He still remained the member of the Congress. Rebel Congress, but he remained a member of the Congress. Now, coming to the Great Escape, 1941, the plan was done quite sometimes. And many people say, I've heard also, that the blueprint.
And Sarat Bose was probably one of the three persons who knew every step of the Great Escape. Every detail of the planning. He knew it.
the blueprint of the escape from Calcutta to Kabul was known only to three persons. One was Sarat Chandra Bose, another one was Major Shotran Bokshi, a member of the Bengal Volunteers founded by Netaji in 1928, and the third one was Mia Akbar Shah, who was a forward block leader of the Northwest Frontier Agency, Frontier Province. So these people only knew the blueprint. And Sarat Bose sent two people, Sudhiranjan Bukshi and one Sanyal, from Kolkata, and he said that you go by road this, like this, and go and meet there the leaders of the forward bloc and Ghadar party. Come back and tell me that how was the journey. They got the message of Sarat Bose to Mia Akbar Shah. They came back, reported Sarat Bose, and they knew nothing else. It was actually 3% who knew. The others who participated in the Great Escape only knew about the job to be done by them. That's all. And many people say that the initial plan of this Great Escape was taken at the house of Sarat Bose at Gidapahar, Karsiong. Later on, Mia Akbar Shah was called. He came to Calcutta twice, not once. Twice he came to Calcutta. And he spoke to Sarat Bose, he spoke to Subhash Chandra Bose, and the total arrangement was done of the Great Escape. Before that, in 1940, Netaji first met the Japanese Deputy Consulate in Calcutta at a house in Coonoor Street. The house which was owned at that time by Snehangshu Acharya. The big communist leader was also a very good friend of my uncle Janakinath Bose. They were in London together, and they were in the bar. They were studying in London. So Snehangshu Acharya was told that you arrange for a tea and snacks and you go out of your house. Vijendranath Bose and his elder brother Ganesh Bose, they went and contacted Snehangshu Acharya, told about this plan, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Accordingly, he gave leave to his servants and he went out himself. Netaji and the Deputy Consul General of Japan, they went there, they had a closed door meeting. We do not know what happened. So, it is not that Netaji did not have any connection with Japan. Later on, this connection was, after he left, this connection was continued by Sarat Chandra Bose. In the 64 files which came out from the government of West Bengal, all were intelligence files. In those intelligence files, 3 places could be traced by the intelligence, police intelligence, where Sarat Bose and the person of the Japanese consulate they met. One was at the Dakshineshwar temple, another was below the Bali bridge, and the third one was at the residence of Sarat Chandra Bose in Rishra, by the side of the river Hooghly. So it was Sarat Chandra Bose who kept this liaison with the Japanese He was the man who held the torch aloft when Netaji was away. And he was the man from till the last who vehemently opposed and criticized the partition of our motherland. Let us have one thing. 1937 is a very important year. In the Bengal Legislative Assembly, Congress was there, got a good number of seats. Krishak Praja Party, headed by Fazlul Haq, was there, and Muslim League, headed by Hossain Sohrawardy and Nizamuddin, was there. Now, Sarat Bose and Subhash Bose, both who were the members of the Bengal Legislative Council, they wanted to have a coalition government with the Krishak Praja Party and also with the Muslim League. And in 1939, likewise, both the brothers had given a resolution, had given a proposal in the Congress Working Committee. The time has now come. We should form the coalition government all over India along with the Muslim League. The proposal was totally rejected by the Congress Working Committee. 1937 also, 2 years previous to that, 1939, they sent this proposal to the Congress Working Committee that we in Bengal would like to have a coalition government. It was outright rejected by the Congress Working Committee. Fazlul Haq, who had smelled power, he made a coalition government along with the Muslim League in 1937. And the coalition government of the Muslim League and the Krishak Praja Party, they ruled in Bengal. And that ruling gave Muslim League in Bengal the importance which resulted in the great Calcutta killing. Sarat Bose was always against this. He always wanted a communal harmony within the two communities in Bengal and also all communities in India. For the last moment, he had tried to persuade the Congress leaders, Krishak Praja Party and to the Akali Dal also, not to agree to the partition. But unfortunately, at that particular moment, Sarat Bose was a lone man. Nobody heard, nobody listened to him. And when he went to Lord Mountbatten with his idea of United Sovereign Bengal, that in Bengal the language is same, the culture is same. I would propose a coalition ministry where language and culture will take the center stage. This religion will take the backstage. And slowly, we will bring communal harmony. And if necessary, we will merge to the Indian Union. The proposal was rejected by Jawaharlal Nehru, by Vallabhbhai Patel, and by Louis Earl Mountbatten, the then Viceroy of India. Sarat Bose came back a disappointed man. Gandhiji, who assured Sarat Bose his all, support, later on backed out and supported partition. But this is the story of a man who had always fought for justice, who has always fought for morality, who had always fought for communal harmony, was a true patriot, and he always wanted and united India and never wanted to divide India. But unfortunately, the British people, with all the cunningness they had, they induced the Congress, the Muslim League, and the small minority of Hindu Mahasabha to speak in favor of the partition, and India was partitioned on the basis of religion. We are now paying for that.
Exactly.
That misdeed we are now playing. And today, at least, I have an appeal to my countrymen. Please remember this man. Please remember what he said earlier in his political career, that the same old thing, nothing is morally wrong. Nothing which is morally wrong is politically correct.
Correct.
If you are morally wrong within yourself, you cannot be politically correct. This, the new generation of politicians should know, should learn, and should accordingly do in their day-to-day political life. Thank you very much. If I have spoken a little bit more, I'm sorry. But
No. Absolutely no. Mr. Bose, we would just like to know what story you have heard from your mother and your uncle and aunt about Sarat Chandra Bose as a father. Because you lost him at the age of 3. So probably you don't have any memory to share, personal memory for him.
Sarat Chandra Bose was a very dear father. Particularly, he had a great affection with his daughters. And at times, he used to be very jovial and crack jokes within the family circle. But at the same time, he had his own personality also. One more thing I would like to add here is what we see actually. Elder man is advising a younger man. We very seldom see the younger man paying any heed to the views of the younger man. But here in one way, in the family way, there was a difference. My mother was the eldest of the daughters. And as for the family tradition, after passing out his matriculation, or during when she was about to sit in exams of his matriculation, she got married at the age of 18. That was the tradition at that time in the Bose family. Even a daughter of the family passing out matriculation was something which was new. My mother got married at the year 1935. But when it came to Geeta, the second daughter, when she passed out, she was a very good student also. She passed out successfully from diocesan school. It was actually Subhash Chandra who advised his elder brother, why don't you send Geeta for her studies? She's brilliant. Sarat Bose listened to his younger brother, and Geeta was admitted in Loreto College, and from there he passed out her graduation. Then afterward came Roma, who was the first child to be born at One Woodman Park. Roma did her matriculation also from diocesan school, and she did her graduation from Ashutosh College. Then came the youngest daughter, Chitra, an exceptionally bright student, passed out with merit, matriculation from diocesan school. had her graduation from Lebanon, had her MA in political science from Calcutta University. So one advice from the younger brother Subhash changed the views of the elder brother, and 3 of his daughters were well educated and they went to college for their higher education. So that is where we were just talking about Mahajati Shodham, how he projected his younger brother to the national level and to the international level later on. This is the example that if somebody gives you a good advice, take it. Don't hesitate that he is my elder or he is my younger. If the advice is good, you must take it. And that is the teaching we should take from the life of Sarat Chandra Bose also. And he was also, he did not have much time. He was a busy lawyer. He was also in politics. He was often in jail, British jail. And he was busy with his press also. But during the holidays, he used to spend most of his time in Karsiong, Gida Pahar, and other places. There he was, in one sense, my dear father to his siblings. He was very jovial, and he used to tell stories. He used to insist his sons and daughters simply proficient in their mother tongue Bengali and in English. He was a great admirer of literature himself, and he used to recite by heart poetries of Keats, Byron, Shakespeare, and also of Rabindranath Tagore, Kazi Nazrul Islam. And he was a very, very apt listener himself. He had a very melodious voice, and he was a great listener to good music. One Woodman Park, we are told, people like Dilip Kumar Rai, son of Dijendralal Rai, who was Netaji's classmate, used to come down. People like Kazi Nazrul Islam used to come down. And in the request of the Bose brothers, they used to sing songs. I still remember my mother narrating the action which Kazi Sahib used to say when he used to sing Gara Rei Lo Ho Kapat, Bhenge Phail Kol Le Lo Pat. Then while singing, he used to stand up. Kazi Sahib used to stand up, and he used to kick his foot when he used to say Latimar Bhangre Tala Jato Shab Bondi Shala. But it was a scene. It was a scene to be watched by every person. And often he used to say, De Gorur Gad Hui Hai, De Gorur Gad Hui Hai. This was Kazi Sahib. And Dear Roy used to come, and at the request of the Bose brothers, he always used to sing the famous song which Dear Roy wrote, Dhano Dhanno Pushpara, Amadare Bushundara. And later on, it happened so that whenever we used to meet at one Woodman Park, any of the social occasions, our social gathering used to end with this song. And we used to say that this song, Dhano Dhanno Pushpara, is a national anthem of the Bose family. And that is why
You
even
shared
today,
this memory with us also. When it came in the program of 11th January, the book release program, Mishamashi shared this story with us also. As the singers of the opening song, they selected this particular song as the opening to open the program.
yes, actually, even today, when I hear this song, and when I hear that famous song of Kazi Nazrul Islam, Kara Rei Lo Ho Kapat, I myself get excited within myself. It's something. These are the songs on those days which used to give so much of enthusiasm to the young people of Bengal. And no doubt, because of these learned writers and singers like Rabindranath Tagore, Kazi Nazrul Islam, Dijendralal Rai, Atul Prasad Sen, and lastly but not the least, Kantakobi Rajanikant Sen, who had written that famous song, Mayer Deva Mata Kapu Mara Nere Bhai, Din Dukhini Maya Tarveshiyar Shadina. So these songs actually they used to elevate the spirit of the young Bengal. Where has that young Bengal gone? My question is that. And to quote Sarat Bose and to Subhash Bose, my appeal to the young generation is, please consider yourselves as Indians first. Then consider yourself as Bengalis, Gujaratis, Punjabis, or Hindustanis. If you do not have this nationalistic attitude within yourself, you do not have this nationalistic spirit in yourself, you cannot justify by loving your country. That is the country India, where the philosophy of India is unity in diversity. This we should learn, this we should grasp it with our heart when we are talking to people. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, and I mean, probably this is the best way we can end this session, to know the life of a nationalist leader, a true patriot, and a person with highest value of morality, Shri Sarat Chandra Bose. So we convey our heartfelt thanks to Meshomoshai once again for taking all the trouble to sitting with us and share the stories of this precious life. And we are really fortunate to have you with us.
Thank you
Jai
so
Hind.
much. Jai Hind.